Hello, my name's Andy. Welcome to the 4th retro episode of Keeping Water. In this episode I'll be looking at the two carp I originally had in the pond. Like my current ones, they were a common carp and a mirror carp, but were bought from garden centres rather than a fishery. Unlike any of my current fish, they had names, Finley and Marcus, one due to having a missing fin when we bought it, the other because it had a darker mark on some of its scales. We didn't think too long and hard about the names, as you can tell. Aside from recurrent lost scales due to the amount of baskets and pipework in the pond, the fish were healthy and grew on well after somewhat stunted growth in the fish tank. The fish displayed similar feeding behaviour to the two carp I have now, although in a less pronounced way. The mirror ate more enthusiastically than the common and was usually first to food. However, the first common was much more confident than my current one. The fish had regularly hand-fed in the fish tank, the mirror especially nibbling at my fingers during cleaning. In the pond, they were not quite as confident, but much less bothered by my presence near the pond than the ones I have now. This clip shows the fish feeding about 3 months after being put into the pond, already growing on well and feeding greedily. The carp enjoyed cruising amongst the lilies, feeding on the floating pellets from amongst the pads. They would also avoid the worst of the sun in the shadows the plants created. It's less clear what the carp gave to the lilies, however, as they would nibble at them and swim amongst them with little care. The picture created by carp swimming amongst the lilies was certainly close to the idea I had in my head when I planned the pond. Coupled with the rudd and tench, it was my attempt to recreate a village pond or small lake. It was also an attempt to make something that would look and feel natural, both from outside and inside the pond, something that I didn't completely achieve and still haven't. The carp were always central to that theme, as the fish that would be the largest and occasionally the most obvious inhabitants. Native carp have a disadvantage that koi don't, namely that their colours are not easily appreciated. Looking into the pond they look black or grey. From a GoPro in the water they look dull and washed out. Out of the water their colours are more readily apparent, however. There is something I quite like, though, about large fish being hidden beneath the surface, often just seen as dark shapes. Sometimes the original pond's less than crystal clear water helped with that ideal. As I've said, the original carp were less easily spooked than my current ones, and would feed much closer to me, which was useful as the pellets I gave them were much lighter than the ones I use now, and I couldn't have thrown them as far. I fed them tetracolour and growth sticks, which the rudd, larger than the ones I have now, would happily take as well. It would have been interesting to see how the carp would have developed if they had survived. They had reached 18 and 20 inches long and seemed to be growing consistently, if slowly. Finally, a quick look at why the mirror was called Finley. A missing ventral fin, which it had when we bought it. We were given a discount, but we didn't mind. It didn't appear to struggle without it, although Finley would definitely lean to one side more in direct flow than Marcus, the common, did. Thank you so much for watching this retro episode of Keeping Water. The next episode will be the last in the series and will be coming out soon. Please give this video a like if you've enjoyed it, check out my channel for other videos, and subscribe if you like what you see. The next regular episode of Keeping Water will be out on Saturday, and there may also be some clip videos released before that. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.